What's up, guys? MC Stu here, and today we're going to talk about the upcoming Phoenix Prize Pack event. We're also going to look at how to go about getting those packs and take a look at some of the items in the packs that you can get that are worthwhile. So this will be kind of a combo video of news, how-to, and some of my suggestions on those items. Let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, so we're going to start off by getting to the first location. If you're going to manually fly there, there are some transwarp abilities, but we're just going to keep it kind of simple here. So right now I am just outside the Sol system. We're going to go ahead and pull up the map. And the first location we're going to go to, and there's two, we'll go to both of them here just to check them out. The first one is going to be Drozana Station, and that is down here, the bottom corner of the beta quadrant. As you'll see it here, just go ahead and click on that and navigate to it. And while we are traveling there, we will take a look at the blog post here real quick. So we have a Phoenix Prize Pack event. I'm probably saying that wrong, but a Phoenix event is what they call it. I call it a pack event because the event is that you get a free Phoenix pack or box. It's going to start on the 29th, which is this Thursday, and it'll run for a week, ending the morning of the 6th, following Thursday. So during this event, you can get yourself a free Phoenix box once per day, once per account. So you can't farm it out on multiple characters or anything like that. It's just once per. That's pretty much the gist of the blog. It breaks down all the different stuff that you can get out of it, and we're going to take a look at all of this here in just a moment. One of the large updates they made, though, is that you can get the X upgrades for your ships, and these are the breakdowns. So if you have 5 ultra rare, you can get 20 very rare, or 100 rare prize tokens. If you're opening quite a few at Dill, you can get these ultra rares pretty quick. It's not super difficult, but it just depends on how many you open. If you get an epic, you can get some pretty decent ships out of that are very hard to come by. All right, let's see where we're at, and let's speed this up a little bit. So you're going to navigate to Drozana. The other location is Deep Space Nine. We'll take a look at both of those places so you know what vendor to go to. The vendors are not currently there because the event is not currently ongoing, but I can show you right where they're going to be standing. Okay, we have reached Drozana Station. We're going to go into the system here. Once you get in the system, you're going to board the station, so we'll have to approach it. It's basically like any other of the social maps, Sol System or New Romulus, any of those kind of areas, Deep Space Nine. This isn't something that a lot of people visit all the time. Some of the older missions used to bring you here, but I don't think there's a lot left that does. It's kind of a cool place. It's kind of got just about everything except some of the basic vendors, but you have the ship tailor. You can slot different ships. There's not a ship vendor. There's a character tailor. There's your exchange, mail, all of those kind of standard things. So it's a nice little social hub that's cross-faction if you don't want to travel over to Deep Space Nine. All right, we are on the transporter pad at Drozana Station. Let's take a look at where this NPC is going to be standing. So you're going to come out of the transporter room, hang a left, come into the main area here. On the right, we have the bank and everything. Right in this spot here, you'll have a Ferengi standing there. You will talk to him, pick up a mission, accept it, close out the window, talk to him again, and complete the mission, and it'll drop a Phoenix box into your inventory for you to open. You can do this once a day. If you have an alt and you don't want to be running all over the place, you can just park them here and just log in and grab one of those. It's on the, I believe, 20-hour timer like pretty much all the other events are. So once every 20 hours, you can go ahead and pick up a box. If you time it out right, I think you can. So it's 4 hours and it's 5 days. I don't know if you can squeeze out 8 of those or not, but you should be able to get 7 of them without a big problem. Let's go ahead and jump over to Deep Space Nine and take a look at where to pick it up there. To get to Deep Space Nine, I'm going to actually use a mission to jump there. So if we go to the Gamma Quadrant arc here, and I'm going to transwarp to the first mission, and that's going to drop us off right outside of Deep Space Nine. It's a nice little hack, little tip. Find missions that are start in places of places where you want to go, social hubs, things like that, and then you don't have to worry about your your transwarp timer cooldown, and there's also a larger variety of places to be able to get through like that. You can also do it from ground without having to go to space, so that makes it nice. All right, so we're gonna head onto Deep Space Nine, and it's gonna be right outside of Quarks, but I'll just show you exactly where he stands so you know where to go. All right, let's get to Deep Space Nine here. To YOLO in. Okay, we are on the transporter pad at Deep Space Nine. We're gonna come out and hang a left, head over towards Quarks, and you'll see here's Quarks right across. We have this table. There will be a Ferengi NPC standing here, and you will do the same thing that you would have done on Drazana Station. You'll click on them, pick up the mission, confirm it, close it, talk to them again, and complete the mission, and it'll drop a Phoenix box into your inventory. So that is how you get your free boxes daily. At any time you want, you can purchase Phoenix boxes by going to the dilithium store here. They're 4,500 dilithium per box, or you can get a discount if you buy 10. I'm going to go ahead and pick up 10 of them so we can get a few in our inventory and take a look at some of the items. So fingers crossed. I'd love to have an epic. There's a ultra rare. Okay, so here's what we got. We got one ultra rare and 6 very rare, and then 3 of just the rare ones. So let's go ahead and just take a look here. I'm not going to go through every single item in this. I'm just going to kind of point out some of the ones that I think are universally useful and very good for particular things. So I'm not going to go through the ships. Let's start with the ultra rare. All right, so there's a lot of kind of fun items, EMH, bridge officers, things like that. They're kind of whatever. If you're into it, grab it. First one here is the Universal Console, the Interphasic Instability. And this isn't like super OP, but for budget, it gives you a plus 5% all damage, which is really nice. You get some additional hull capacity, and it's got a okay damage over time that it does. It's got a very good debuff that it puts on targets as well for budget level, or we use these on some of the high-end coordinated runs on the debuff and support builds. But you know, if I were to roll like a brand new character and I don't have anything yet, I'm probably going to grab one of these because it's a little extra damage, and the rest of the stuff that comes spec'd on it is decent. Voth Phase Decoy. This is good if you're going to build a anti-proton build and you're wanting to boost that, so you can get a 20% anti-proton boost out of this, along with some maximum hull capacity. The clicky's not super great, but it is a good amount of extra anti-proton damage, Cat 1, that you can slot on a build that doesn't take up a tactical slot. So that is pretty nice. Let's just kind of scroll through here. Bozeman. Engines, they're okay. Makes your ship shake. It's kind of cool. Makes it feel kind of like a hot rod, but you know, I mean, just a regular old crafted one as you're leveling up is fine. And you know, once you get max level and start to unlock some of your reps, you're going to pass up on that. So you can get it to check it out if you want, but it's not super awesome. The shotgun is great. It's probably the next best thing to fight Borg with, since it does kinetic damage, physical damage, instead of any of the energy types, so you don't have to worry about remodulating. That makes it really nice. The crystalline energy torpedo, again, is a good one to pair up with a anti-proton build. If you have Lobi stuff, the Baul one's probably going to be better because of the set bonuses, but again, on the budget level, this is a nice torpedo that does anti-proton damage, so it's going to be boosted by all of your tactical consoles that are boosting all of your other weapons, provided they're anti-proton. So pretty cool torpedo. Again, not super OP, but not bad. Some of the ground stuff's kind of whatever. I personally kind of like the Mirror Universe dual phasers. Again, not super duper OP, but they come at Mark 13, even though they are rare, not very rare. But again, for a budget option, any of these weapons will get the job done for ground. The Bajoran Defense Hyper Injected Warp Core. So this is interesting. These actually would come on the Bajoran Interceptor, which is something that would come from an Epic token, which is a good ship. It also comes with some excellent consoles on it. The nice thing about this core is if you're doing, say, a budget phaser build, plasma, or even disruptor, you can pick up the shield, the engine, and the deflector from a mission, and then you can get the last piece from this. Now, I wouldn't use all 4 of the pieces, but generally what happens is the 2 piece is going to give you the bonus to the damage types. all of the ones that I just named. And so you could run like a fleet colony along with a competitive engine and then this core and the shield and be able to get the bonus from that 2-piece. Again, not super, over the top, but it's a nice synergizing, way to go about doing it. Maybe if you don't have, some of the reps fully unlocked for the Tilly shield and the warp core from the disco, those kinds of things. So early on, this is kind of nice to pair with the shield and then the other 2 items that I mentioned. So prior to them adding this to it, the only way you could get it is if you had that ship, and that ship was only a special event one, and then it was put in the Phoenix store here, but you have to have an epic, and those are pretty far and few between to get those. There's also a Singularity Core variant of that. So if you're running a Romulan ship, you could pick up that version of it as well. Agony Torpedo is similar to the Crystalline Torpedo in that it does phaser damage. So this is an energy type torpedo. Again, pretty cool that I like these torpedoes that stack off of the energy types. It just gives you a whole nother diverse kind of way to build around things. Again, if you're going for min-max, this isn't what you're going to use, but you could do very, very well with this, and it's synergized with your overall build, provided it's a phaser build. The Prolonged Engagement Power Dino. This is an interesting console. Again, I use this on new characters that I'm just building up. I don't have anything to fill the slots with, and I'll drop this in. This is going to boost your power levels, essentially. The clicky on it's okay. It depends on how much you've built up. I just don't find that this has a lot of use. I don't like having empty slots, so again, I'll just pick it up in some cases just to fill a slot, but it's kind of one of those whatever things. Now, what is not one of those whatever things are these 2 items here, the Prolonged Engagement Phaser Beam Array and Dual Cannon. These are both awesome. These are very, 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 very good. I use these on all of my high-end builds, low-end builds. If it's phaser and it's, beams or cannons, it's going to have one of these on there depending on what the build is. These are very good, and I would highly recommend picking it up. I know in the past when you picked this up, it would unlock it account-wide. I don't know if that's still the case, so I don't want to make that statement, but maybe someone can let me know in the comments if that's still the case once this event starts. I think that was kind of a bug, but I know that at least through 2 times ago, I tested it on one of my alt accounts, and that was the case. But again, that could have been shadow fixed, and so I don't want to make that statement definitively. But in the past, these did unlock account-wise. Like most of this stuff, this all used to be event stuff, so they would unlock account-wise once you completed the event, and I think some of these items just had that effect still built into them. I don't think they were supposed to do that. But both of these are excellent, excellent weapons, and basically the reason for that is you get a boost to your fire cycle haste of up to 20% haste, and it's really good. So again, I use these on anything that's doing phaser, and there's a variant of cannon and the beam arrays, which makes it really, really nice. Lastly, we have the Prolonged Engagement Photon Torpedo. I think this is probably one of the most screen-accurate torpedoes. It looks very similar to the torpedoes we saw in TNG. It's okay. I know when it first came out, like most things, it had a little bit of a bug, and it was OP. That was fixed right away. So I wouldn't put it real high up on the, high-end, high-performing, but it does as good as any other torpedo, maybe even a little bit better depending on how you work around it. It can increase the fire cycle speed of it, so basically the recharge speed, which is kind of nice. But again, if you're trying to put together something that's screen accurate for the TNG era, this would be the torpedo to pick up. Let's talk about breaking these down as well, okay? So let's say you don't want anything, you just want upgrades, and we'll get to that at the end. You can click on this here and use one of these, and you can turn it into 2 of these. And then you can do that again at the bottom here and turn it into 2 of those. So I would end up with 4 rares just from 1 ultra rare. I would say save these so you can, pick up a X upgrade, if you want to do that. But just know that you can do that. I do it on my main account because I have most all the stuff out of these stores that I want. So breaking those down, you can do that into the lesser versions and then trade them in for those upgrades. All right, so in the very rare, I picked up all the costumes. I just like them. I don't have the EV suit yet for some reason. We'll just go ahead and grab that now so we have it. The Kobali is a costume unlock, and it's really good. Well, at least the boots are. I use it on a lot of stuff. The boots look really good, very tactical kind of looking like, if you're into that kind of a look. And so I'd recommend definitely picking that up just to add to your wardrobe there. So when you're going in kit bashing and having fun in the tailor, this is a good one. I like to have this unlocked on all of my characters across the board. The Crystalline Absorption Matrix. This is another anti-proton one. It does have a clicky that does a random amount of anti-proton damage out the front of the ship, essentially. But it gives another passive boost to your anti-proton damage. So again, it's another console that you can stack without having to take up a tactical slot if you don't want to. So if you're really trying to just push that damage output from an anti-proton build, here's another console that will do that for you. Red Matter Capacitor. This is okay. I think this is okay for certain use scenarios. When you click it, it's basically a reusable battery. It doesn't go away when you use it. It just goes on its cooldown, and it gives plus 25 all power levels, which in some scenarios for particular builds might be helpful. The only downside is it does put all your other batteries on cooldown. So if you're using other batteries and you want to use this too, that's kind of a no-go. All right, we have a host of different Admiralty ships here. So these are for the Admiralty system. These are not ships that you can actually fly. If you're not sure about the Admiralty system, just look in the beginner's guides on my channel here, and there's a whole tutorial on that. But these are basically extra cards that you can pick up if you don't have a lot of Tier 6 ships with Admiralty cards. So ships come with an Admiralty card. Admiralty is a subsystem in the game that allows you to get resources, essentially, is just kind of the quick overview. All right, duty officers. Let's start with Neil. So Neil gives a plus 5% all damage versus the Borg. It's not a huge boost, but again, if you're someone that's trying to min-max or you play a lot of the ISEs and ISAs and all the other things, he's a good one to have. And what makes him extra special is that he boosts space and ground, but he can be slotted on ground. So essentially, he's a ground off that also affects space. So it allows you to get that little bit of extra boost for basically free or for sacrificing one of your ground off slots. So kind of cool. It's not going to make or break a build, but it's a nice little extra boost for essentially free in terms of taking up slots on your build. Next, we have the Emergency Con hologram. This is probably one of my favorite. I have this unlocked on every single character, always will. If I roll a new character, it's one of the first things I'm going to get. I harp on this on pretty much every single build I do. A lot of this is based around the way that I like to play. I like to be able to move around the map at will very quickly. And so if you use evasive maneuvers, you move real fast, it goes on cooldown. You got to wait the 45 seconds or whatever for it to do its cooldown. If you have emergency powered engine slotted and you click that, it'll drop the cooldown to a couple seconds and it's ready to use again right away. So this is a very useful DOF for doing that kind of thing. I personally like it because of, again, the way I like to pilot and move around. If you're not into that, this may not be super useful for you. And guys, I apologize if I'm skipping over stuff here that you're like, hey, why isn't he talking about that? It's great. I use it. Let me know in the comments. There's a lot of stuff in here, and I haven't played with all of it. I mean, I've looked at most of it, and because of how complicated the game is, sometimes I'll look at something and I'm like, that's worthless to me. And someone will tell me how they're using it, and I'm like, man, I didn't even think about that. So let me know, the stuff I'm skipping over that you guys use and like. Definitely put that down in the comments for me. I'd appreciate it. Some pack gear, it's okay. The kit module, I like it. Lightning comes down from the sky and kills bad guys. Again, I'll use this on newer characters that I just don't have anything unlocked, especially on my free-to-play, because I actually unlocked this on my from the event on my free-to-play, so I can just reclaim it. Some of this stuff, I don't want to say a lot, but some of this stuff I have just on account unlock already because I've been playing for a while. And so it's on unlock through the event tab. I can reclaim it. All right, Ryzen Mini Powerboard. This thing's pretty cool. It's basically a Back to the Future hoverboard from Back to the Future 2, essentially. It can only be used on Risa or on the Fleet Colony. You can use it on the ground there, but it's a pretty cool hoverboard to get. It's way cheaper and easier to get than buying it at the summer event store. So if you just need a quick and easy one for next time that event's up, or you just want one to have, grab that. It's super cool. All right, let's look at rare. So there's not a lot in here, guys, that gets me real pumped. They have been adding some stuff, so I need to pick up the Bathlet here for my Klingon character because I collect Bathlets. I've tried to have every single one in the game, every single one, and I do need to grab that. That's something new. You can get the NX registry prefix unlocked, which is pretty cool. I believe this is per character. It's not a count. There's a host of different tribbles here. Kind of like whatever with tribbles personally. You can pick up some pets. Is this a combat pet? It says it's consumed on use. It is a combat pet. So if it's consumed on use, does that mean that I only get to use it once and then it's gone? I mean, that's what it should mean, right? Can I use it right now? Let's try this out, guys. I'm just interested to see. Where did he pop up at? So he's here. We'll let that cooldown go down and we'll just see. You got to buy a bunch of those if you want to keep using it. That'd kind of be a bummer, right? All right, we'll let that cooldown go. So this is the rest of the stuff in here is this kind of fun stuff. So there's different emotes you can pick up out of here. Definitely pick up all of these. Air guitar was a must-have the moment I saw it. I probably should grab most of these other ones here. As soon as you do these, it just automatically unlocks them. Pick me. Yeah, I've got that one. That was a for sure as well. Anyways, I'll go through the rest of those after. So the rest of the stuff, again, it's kind of like whatever, right? But, you know, some ground gear. Again, it's not the best, but it's good filler if, you know, you need something on brand new characters. Lastly is going to be your tech upgrades. The tech upgrades that you get out of here they were nerfed a little while back, but they still are the best in the game. Despite that, I think I actually got rid of or put all of mine in my bank. So let's break down one of these here. We'll pick up 2 of these upgrades. So I have a whole video on this if you want more detail about it and how to go about using it. But if you use these with tech, you know, boosts and things like that, upgrade boosts, then you can get a lot more out of them. But these give you a good amount of upgrade points. So it's 38,000 tech upgrade points, and there's no dilithium cost for them directly. Now, you know, if you say, well, each box costs you, you know, 4,000 or 4,500, depending on how you pay it, pick them up, and then yeah, there is some dilithium cost, and it's fairly equal to the crafted ones. But if you get a roll like I got, and you ended up with a couple of the ultra rare, or you know, one of the ultra rares and a couple of these, because you can break them all down, if that's all you're looking for, you can end up with just a tremendous amount of upgrades. And when you divide out the cost of the dilithium, it's much more, you know, it's much cheaper. So 1 for 1, okay, you can make that argument, but when you're talking about opening a 10-pack or more than that, en masse, this, you know, when you average that out, it's way cheaper in terms of dilithium to use these upgrades. And anytime, you know, I'm opening boxes, which is generally 4 upgrades, I'm doing it because I need the upgrades, but in the back of my mind, I'm going to be pumped if I get a ship, right? So that's always a possibility. But from what I understand, getting ships out of these are one of the lowest chances in the game out of all the boxes that they have. Nick MB opened up like 2,500 of them. I think during the last event or the one before that, a month or so ago, he didn't get a ship. That was a lot of boxes that he opened up. He's got a lot of upgrades now, but now these upgrades, when you get them, you can put these in your account bank. So these aren't tied to character. You can move them around. They just can't be sold. So that was kind of a quick and dirty, guys, on the Phoenix prize packs and, you know, what I like out of them. Again, you know, let me know, guys, what you guys are using. I skipped over a ton of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff in there. And if you are using it and it's working well for you and I skipped it, I'm not pooping on it. I'm just, you know, ignorant of how good it can be. So let me know. Let me know what I'm missing there, because I love to try out new stuff, and I'd super appreciate that. I needed to clip this in real quick because I forgot we did not test our ground pet. So it looks like we have 10 of them when we purchase those. And if I click it, well, let me click it here. Yes, it will. So he has a 2-minute cooldown. He's here hanging out, and I only have 9 left. So when you purchase the ground combat pets, you're getting basically a 10-pack, and they are consumed on use, and you get 10 consumptions of that pet. So I almost forgot that. I got halfway done editing and realized that we didn't put that in there. So that's kind of cool. It would have been a bummer if it was just 1, but it is actually 10 charges of it. So I don't know how good he is, but, you know, for an extra little ground pet to have running around that you can call in on social zones, he's kind of standing a little weird here in a little invisible step, but whatever. So there's something a little extra for the Space Barbie action. All right, guys, I think that now covers everything. I appreciate you watching. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you very much. Let me know what you guys think about this. Don't forget the event will be starting here in just a couple days on the 29th and run for the week. Make sure you take advantage and pick up your free Phoenix packs from the vendors. All right, guys, have a good one. Hey guys, appreciate you watching. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, ring the bell, and sub to the channel for the latest news updates and how-to guides.